Hi guys, this is Shelly. Thanks for joining me today. I'm making sloppy joes for dinner today, and I decided I'm going to make this sandwich bread that we'll use for the sloppy joes, and I'll just shape them into like a burger type shape, and we'll have that with them. Now, I have made this sandwich or picnic bread before, and it's very unusual in that you put peppers in with it, red and yellow peppers in with it, or whatever color you like for that matter, I'd imagine. You put a little bit of onion in it, and everything is chopped up so finely that you don't even realize what you're eating. You know there's this great flavor there, but you don't realize what it is. And that was proven true. A friend of ours was over for lunch one day, and I made the sandwich using this, and he, Ken, you know who you are, does not really like vegetables, and he didn't realize that they were vegetables until he had eaten it. So for those that you want to sneak veggies in on, it's not a lot. It's very little, as a matter of fact. I think it's like 25 grams of each that you put in, but it just makes it real pretty. As well as adding to the flavor. So I've measured everything out here. I'm going to go through everything with you that I have. I have enough here for a double batch because I will use it for sandwiches later, for cold sandwiches later. So I will freeze half the batch, which is what I normally do, and the other half we'll use for, for now, for whatever we like, including the sloppy joes. So I'm going to read exactly to you what goes in this. So there's 1/3 cup of warm water, or 80 grams, 2 1/4 cups or 7 grams of yeast, 1/3 cup, 40 grams of sugar, 3 cups or 400 grams of bread flour. So I am using, I'm combining that with my freshly ground whole wheat flour. So I'm using 2/3 bread flour and 1/3 the whole wheat flour. 1 teaspoon, 5 grams of salt, 2 1/2 tablespoons, 38 grams of mayonnaise, 2 eggs, 25 grams of yellow sweet peppers, 25 grams of red sweet peppers. As I said, I'm sure it doesn't matter what peppers you use. 2 tablespoons or 28 grams of unsalted butter, and 2 egg yolks. So we're going to start by adding the water, our sugar, and I'm just going to give that a little bit of a stir before I put the yeast in. Just a bit to get it working. And then our yeast. There we go. I'm going to actually give that a stir as well. So, make sure I get all the yeast off that. I typically will put a dinner plate over my mixer while I'm waiting for this to foam. Just this here is sort of like a check to make sure that your yeast is active and that it's working well. Like it gives it a bit of a head start as well. So I have my flour here. Now, as we know, when we make bread, if a recipe calls for 3 cups, you never add the 3 cups at once, because the humidity, the temperature of the home, all sorts of things could determine exactly how much flour you need to add, right? So you're safe in adding about 2 1/2 cups, and then just hold off on that bit and the last little bit, and just add it as you need it. So we will go through this, and you'll see. So we'll be back in 10 minutes and to check on this. Our yeast has risen beautifully. So as you can see, the yeast looks beautiful there. We know that it's really active. Okay, guys, let's get cracking. So what I'm going to do now is just use this little dicer that you hear me talking about all the time, that I absolutely love, and it's going to give us a nice tiny dice. I've already done the onion. This here is just the pepper. Okay. Perfect. So, to our dough now, we are going to add our eggs. I'm also going to add let's do 5 cups of the flour. Roughly, it doesn't have to be exact. By the way, if you don't have bread flour, you can by all means use just all-purpose flour. It's the same 1-to-1 ratio. Okay. We're going to also add in our salt, our mayonnaise, there we go, and the butter we'll add in after we have gotten the dough all mixed. And now we're going to also add all of this in here. All of our peppers and onions are also going to go in. So you see what I mean, how pretty this is going to be. It's going to be beautiful and flavorful. There we go. So we're using our dough hook on this, okay? Pull it up. Using our dough hook. That started nicely. So we're just going to bring this together, and this will take about maybe 5 minutes to completely come together and make a nice soft dough. And then we'll assess it to see if it needs more flour. Okay, so our dough is still quite wet. So I know that the additional cup of flour we have left is definitely going to be needed. Normally I would add a bit at a time, but I know the dough was so wet that it would need the full cup. And I also keep in mind that because I'm using freshly ground whole wheat flour, that absorbs more liquid than normal flour does, or flour that you buy at the store or wherever. Okay guys, I have a bowl here that I'm going to be putting this dough in, so I'm just putting a little bit of avocado oil in it. And I have my oven on proof. If you don't have a proofing on your oven, that's no problem. You can just turn the oven light on, or if your home is warm enough, you can just, you know, put it in the same type of bowl I'm doing, and just cover it in your home. I keep my house quite cool. So now the interesting thing about this dough is that it looks sticky and it looks wet, but it really isn't. So it's a nice moist dough, but it's not very, let's just get this out so you can see it. It's a beautiful, beautiful dough to handle. There it is. How pretty is that? So I'm just going to, I should have kept my scraper. So I'm just going to get this together in a ball. A tiny bit of flour. I don't like to use much flour for our doughs after they come out, because it can dry it out if you're not careful. So there we go. We're just going to shape it in a ball, toss it in our bowl, cover it in oil. And now I am just going to put a little bit of plastic wrap on top of that and put it in the oven. I'm going to put a towel on top of this as well, a damp kitchen towel on top of this, and put it in the oven until it doubles in size. So that's usually going to be about an hour or so. And then I'll shape it and let it double in size again. So I've got the damp towel on it, and it's all set just to pop in the oven until it doubles in size, and we'll be back. Okay guys, welcome back. So the dough has doubled, looks beautiful. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to weigh it out into individual portions that are 100 grams, and I'll show you how I'm going to shape them. Get this to grams. You don't have to do this, but I kind of like to keep it a little precise. I think I'm going to do 120 actually. They're going to be for, yeah, that's 119, that's good. So all I do with my dough when I do this is I just tuck it under like you would for a normal roll, or you could just go like this if you like on your countertop, and it'll form into a nice ball. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my parchment paper and flatten it out with the palm of my hand. Okay? So I'm going to need a few cookie sheets for this, but I'm going to actually just give this a quick little knead, because there are quite a few air bubbles in it. So I'm going to show you how I do it one more time. 120 grams. And so, again, just tuck it under like this, or however you shape your rolls. Just use that method. And, or as I said, you could do it like this. Just cup it in the palm of your hand and let your fingers rest on the table, and that also gives you a nice shape. And then we'll put it over here and again, flatten it out. So just flatten them all out to about the same thickness. And I am going to keep going with this. Okay guys, I just decided to shape them all and then come back in and flatten them out. I put some flour on the parchment paper, and I also put some flour on top, just a bit, so that when I flatten them out, my hand does not stick to them. So. Okay. So I actually have to run out for a little bit. I did not put enough flour on the top of this one, so my hand was sticking to it. But as I was saying, I have to run out for a little bit. So what I plan on doing is covering these up with plastic wrap and refrigerating them. And then when I come home, I'll take them out to rise, and we will have them for dinner tonight with the sloppy joes. So I think they're going to be all right. So I'm going to cover them up and refrigerate them. And then what I'll do is I will bake them off, and I'll bring you back to show you what they look like. I'll put the recipe down below as well for those who are interested. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how easy these are to make and how delicious they are. Hi guys, I'm back, and I just wanted to come back and show you the rolls that we made, the picnic rolls with the vegetables in it. In full disclosure, it's been a few days. We received a call as I was baking that we had to go out and pick up a couple of rescues, a couple of dogs that we were fostering, and so that was kind of urgent. It's was a little more important. Actually, I'm looking at them right now as I'm filming this. It was a little more important than finishing up this video. So it has been a few days, but I needed to come back just to show you these dinner rolls. So I shouldn't say dinner rolls, I call them a sandwich roll because they're absolutely perfect for making sandwiches. And I made them for a sloppy joe. So it's, like I said, it's been a few days. These are still incredibly moist. As you can see, there are not like a ton of the peppers in it, but you can really taste the onion and the pepper in it. So you can see the nice crumb in that, I think. And I'm about to have one with sloppy Joe, homemade sloppy Joe mix that I made. So I just wanted to come back and finish this up and strongly suggest actually, that you give these a shot. They come out beautifully. They're very moist. They're very light. You can add more veggies if you like. You can add more, okay, just one second. I have to show you this. This is one of the cute little monkeys that we went to pick up. So, as I was saying, you can add more veggies if you like, or you can add some grated cheese if you like. So please give it a shot. And when you do, as always, I love it when you come back and leave a comment and let us know what you thought of it. I only try to share recipes with you that I think folks will like, that I've tried, and sometimes I will try some that I haven't tried, but ones that I think will be a success. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.